everybody, what's up and welcome to Macabre'Gorium Labs presents a showcase of things likely forgotten. My name is Bats and I hope you'll join me tonight as we talk about strawberry shortcake. Hey, whoa, what's going on here? You know what? That guy, strawberry shortcake.
Whoa, smells more like strawberry cake.
Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to Macabre'Gorium Labs' first ever showcase of things likely forgotten after dark. I'm Bats and I'll be your host tonight as we talk about one of our fan favorites with none other than Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. And she's Queen of Halloween. You're not nice. If you were a fan of B-horror movies in the 1980s, then surely you know who Elvira was. I mean, come on, man. She's kinda hard to miss. Busting onto the scene in 1988, no pun intended.
Pun intended.
Busting onto the scene in 1988 as the host of the movie Macabre, Elvira would quickly endear herself to horror fans everywhere, especially here at the labs. But before we get into all of that, we need to take a look at the amazing actress that brought Elvira to life, Cassandra Peterson. Born in Manhattan, Kansas on September 17th, 1951, Cassandra would be known as an actress, comedian, author, dancer, singer, writer, and television personality. As with any person, Cassandra's life had many ups and downs, beginning with her accidentally getting scalded by boiling water at age 1.5 years old. Unfortunately, to which she had to spend 3 months in the hospital getting skin grafts that covered over 35% of her body. This incident left Cassandra with scarring and caused her to have low self-esteem, which is a shame. You should always be happy with who you are. She was often bullied by fellow classmates, causing her to be shy around other kids, which resulted in her being kind of a loner. Although over the years Cassandra would get surgeries to help the scarring, it could not get rid of them entirely, so she would often cover her scars with long hair, which would carry over to her Elvira persona. At age 17, Cassandra would take a trip to Las Vegas where her parents would let her see a live show. She was discovered by the production staff of the show, and her parents allowed her to sign a contract, making her the youngest showgirl in Las Vegas history. So after she graduated, she would go back to Las Vegas to begin her job as a showgirl in Vive Las Girls. This show is where she would meet none other than Elvis Presley, the king himself, her idol. After he saw her perform, he invited her back to a party in his suite. They would have sort of a date. Elvis was kind of notorious for this kind of thing. But it should be noted that other than some singing and some kissing and talking, it really didn't go much further than that. Since, she's 17, nothing else happened. Luckily, he was not able to secure a home run. She would, however, receive some life-changing advice from Elvis. He told her that Vegas wasn't the place for a 17-year-old and she should get the hell out of there and pursue singing. Cassandra says that this advice saved her life, showing her that her job in Vegas would only lead to a long-term dead-end career. Kind of funny given the circumstances. Dead-end career. Just saying.
Pun not intended.
Hearing this from her idol would compel Cassandra to quit her job, leave Vegas, and go to Italy to become a singer. Cassandra's rise from there to Elvira is a crazy, awesome ride, but we need to move on to the subject of this showcase, Elvira herself. It is important to note that Cassandra would go on to perform as Elvira, but does have many non-Elvira roles as well. However, today we will only be focusing on exclusively her most well-known personality, Elvira. Although we might actually cover Cassandra exclusively and more in depth in a future video if this one gets enough traction. Let us know in the comments. Elvira's rise would begin with a show called Fright Night, where you could watch low-budget B-horror movies on KHJ-TV in Los Angeles, California, late at night. Originally hosted by Larry Vincent, aka Sinister Seymour, the show would go to air from 1970 to 1979. Later in 1981, the producers of Fright Night wanted to bring the show back, but wanted to have a female host this time around. At first, the producers asked 1950s horror host hostess Mela Nurmi from the Vampira show to host. However, she wanted the producers to hire Lola Falana as Vampira, but that wasn't going to happen. So she quit and the producers sent out a casting call. After auditioning and winning the role, Cassandra was told it would be up to her to create the character's image itself. While character creation is a lot of work, it can also be a ton of fun for the actor. Cassandra originally drew inspiration from the character Sarah Chagall, played by Sharon Tate in Roman Polanski's movie The Fearless Vampire Killers. However, producers wanted a different look and sent Cassandra back to the drawing board. For her next attempt, she would collaborate with her best friend, Robert Redding, and they would come up with the sexy 80s punk goth vampire look. And I'd say they pulled it off. For Elvira's signature look, she wore a tight floor-length black gown with tattered sleeves and hem. The dress would also feature a wide black leather belt with a silver dagger, high thigh slit, and the iconic plunging V neckline. Elvira has pale skin, dark red lipstick, dark pink eyeshadow, pink cheeks, and long eyelashes. Finished with long black hair styled in a beehive bouffant hairstyle, dagger earrings, black nail polish, and a large magic ruby ring. Elvira's personality began to take shape. At the time she was hired, Cassandra was actually a member of the famous Groundling improv troupe. The reason we say famous Groundlings troupe is because this acting troupe actually had the talents of Paul Rubens and Lynn Marie Stewart. And for those of you wondering, yes, that is Pee Wee Herman and Miss Yvonne. For those of you behind the sceners, I'm sure she probably said this, Miss Yvonne was also Charlie's mom in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Amongst many, 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 many other parts. She pops up everywhere. This lady's crazy. She's good at, like...
Okay.
Yeah.
Cassandra, Paul, and Lynn would become close friends during this time and remain friends up until Paul and Lynn would pass away. Rest in peace. You guys were some serious talent. During her time in the improv group, she had come up with the Valley Girl persona that actually was quite popular. Cassandra felt sure that this character had the perfect type of personality to adapt for Elvira's witty, sarcastic, goofy, quirky nature. And she was right. With Elvira ready to meet her public, it looked like everything was in place and ready to move forward. But then the producers received a cease and desist letter from none other than Mela Nurmi. In a last-ditch attempt to foil Cassandra, Mela would claim Elvira's outfit, format, and closing line, Unpleasant Dreams, were extremely similar to her character Vampira's closing line of Bad Dreams, Darlings. Cassandra, of course, defended Elvira, noting that the basic black dress and black hair may be similar, but Elvira had her own personality that had nothing to do with Vampira. Mela would claim that her Vampira look was based on Morticia from the Addams Family. How the f*** are you gonna try to sue somebody when you yourself stole your personality from someone else? Mela would claim that her Vampira look was based on Morticia from the Addams Family. I don't know, man. Plus, the difference is night and day. Luckily, the court, after having reviewed all of the information available, ruled in favor of Elvira. They explained that a likeness means actual representation and not simply a close resemblance. Yeah. You're not nice. With the matter settled, Elvira would begin what would be her rise to the iconic Mistress of the Dark. Elvira made hosting Movie Macabre into an art form. She would interrupt the movie with her own jokes, skits, and comments. And by the way, Go, you're gonna have to get an Elvira costume, you know that, right?
I know.
This made the show something people actually look forward to each week. Due to her hosting style, the B-movie genre got a surge of viewers and new fans. The Movie Macabre series would run until November 2nd, 1986 and had a total run of 140 episodes over 5 seasons. Now, we can't cover every one of these things. This video would be longer than a trip through hell, so if you want us to cover the episodes individually, let us know down in the comments. However, we will tell you when the episodes aired. Season 1 had 46 episodes beginning September 2nd, 1981 and would run through August 14th, 1982. Season 2 had 32 episodes beginning on September 4th, 1982 and would run through August 27th, 1983. Season 3 had 29 episodes beginning September 17, 1983 and would run through August 26, 1984. Season 4 only had 13 episodes and it would begin running on September 1, 1984 through May 4, 1985. And finally, Season 5 had a total of 20 episodes beginning in June 22, 1986 and would run through November 2, 1986. Due to her revealing dress, Elvira would quickly gain notice. However, she wasn't just a pair of With her Valley Girl voice and quirky personality, risque jokes, and adorable wink, it was obvious she was way more than that, and the character was much more than she seemed. With her popularity growing, Elvira moved from cult status popularity right into the mainstream public. And trust me, the mainstream public was not at all prepared for what was coming, but they were going to welcome it with open arms. Elvira's popularity with the mainstream public was almost instantaneous, and in 1982, Knott's Theme Parks hired her to host their annual Halloween haunt. She would appear every night at the park and perform live on stage. This helped cement Elvira as Queen of Halloween. She would also be a regular guest on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, produce a series of Halloween commercials for Coors Light Beer and Mug Root Beer, host several award shows, and guest starred in several TV shows. Elvira was everywhere and blew up big time. With her popularity and brand recognition, a movie deal was soon discussed and the movie was named Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. This awesome movie would be produced by New World Pictures and NBC Productions with directing by James Signorelli. It would release on September 30th, 1988 with a runtime of 96 minutes. In this movie, Elvira inherits a house, poodle, and spellbook from her aunt, and she wants to fix it up to sell it. Because of 1980s movie shenanigans, she needs $50,000 to open an act at the Flamingo Hotel in Las Vegas. Upon arrival, she quickly discovers the adults in town are judgmental and rude. After making friends with the teenagers in town, they agree to help her fix up the house, much to their parents' dismay. Some kids, they get all the luck. Is this where American Dad got the idea? There are a bunch of hijinks, including defeating her evil warlock uncle, Vincent Talbot. In the end, her house gets burned down, but the townspeople do apologize for how they treated her, and they beg her to stay. The movie then ends with Elvira inheriting Vincent's estate so that she has the money to open her show.
I do have to say, if you haven't seen the Task Dance, the end, you are missing out. That takes some serious talent.
Indeed.
And come on, girls, you know we all tried that.
The 1990s would see Rhino Home Video come out with a series of 15 VHS tapes called Midnight Madness that would feature one movie each, hosted by Elvira. Now, a lot of VHS tapes can be found on eBay for less than about $10 a piece, but for those of you that don't know, this is a VHS tape, and no, you don't watch it like this or this. If you know, you know. Moving on to 2001, another movie was made, Elvira's Haunted Hills. It would be released in the US on October 31st, 2002 with a running time of 90 minutes. Now the cool thing about this movie is it was actually funded entirely by Cassandra and her then husband, Mark Pearson. I thought that was pretty cool. The production companies for this movie were Media Pro Studios, Queen Bee Productions, and the Elvira Movie Company, with director Sam Irvin. It would also be distributed by the Elvira Movie Company. Set in 1851 Carpathia, Elvira and her maid Zuzu are on their way to Paris to put on a can-can review. But they're broke, so they hitch a ride with Dr. Bradley, who takes them to the isolated castle Helsebus. Elvira shocks everyone as she's a dead ringer for Lord Vladimir Helsebus's wife, Allura, that had died. Hijinks ensue because both of Vlad's wives had cheated on him, so naturally he's got issues. Then, because of course he does, he mistakes Elvira for Allura. He tries to kill Elvira, but she escapes, and after escaping, the castle crumbles to the ground, which is weird. Elvira and Zuzu walk away only to get a ride from another unknown carriage. They tell the story of what happened, but the man says it couldn't have happened because the castle has been destroyed for over 100 years. In September of 2010, Elvira's movie Macabre was back, with Elvira now hosting public domain horror movies. The best kind of horror movies. This version of the movie Macabre would have only 26 episodes, beginning on September 20th, 2010 and ending on May 16th, 2011. With still 6 episodes never aired on TV, it was cancelled due to high costs and typical production challenges. My guess is studio interference. However, you can find all 26 episodes on the Coffin Collection DVD. This collection of 13 discs is rare, expensive, and costing at least $250 on eBay, and a whopping $644 on Amazon. Come on, you couldn't bump it up another 22 bucks. Seriously? The marketing's right there. It's ridiculous, but you couldn't just go the extra mile. In 2014, Brainstorm Media produced 13 Nights of Elvira for Hulu. This would have a new episode streaming each day from October 19th, 2014 through October 31st, 2014. The movies shown during this time were provided by distributor Full Moon Features. During the time between movies, hosting, and appearances, Cassandra Peterson would write her memoir, Yours Cruelly, Elvira. The book came out on September 25th, 2021, the same day as Elvira's 40th anniversary, very scary, very special. Elvira was front and center for the one-night movie marathon, and it was streamed on Shudder, included Elvira Mistress of the Dark, House on Haunted Hill, The City of the Dead, and Messiah of Evil. But she's not known for just her TV appearances, because she also has a cookbook that released on September 30th, 2025. Elvira's Cookbook from Hell. It contains sexy, spooky soirees and celebrations for every occasion. It's available for hardback for approximately $33. However, if you would like to get a signed copy of this awesome cookbook for yourself, you can go over to eBay and pay a scalper $100 or more for a copy, or go over to elvirasboutique.com and pay around $60. This was a non-paid mention of her website. We just feel like you should support the artist. We're thinking about picking up a copy of this awesome cookbook and trying out some of the recipes here at the labs. So again, if that's something you want to see, let us know in the comments. In 2026, Cassandra pretty much retired from portraying Elvira, although she does continue managing the Elvira Empire. This is mainly due to her stating she's getting a bit too old to play the character, but she says she might do it for the right opportunity. Alright, let's talk merchandise. Goats, we need to start a shopping list. There is so much merchandise, from posters, purses, and water bottles to blankets, shirts, books, and figures. Although you can find a lot of things on sites like eBay and Amazon, you can also go directly to her website, elvirasboutique.com, and find more. Support talent. Go to her website. This is not a paid endorsement. It has a kids section with shirts, bibs, and onesies. Here in 2026, Elvira is a well-known horror icon and will always be the Mistress of the Dark and Queen of Halloween. Elvira brought humor, sarcasm, and fun to a new level and proved that even a bad horror movie could be amazing with the right host. She showed tons of kids that you can be weird, goth, or an outcast, and that it's not only okay, but it's amazing. And you know what, around here, we're big fans of Elvira and all things macabre. We just haven't really shown it, but we're about to. It was a lot of fun covering this. We've actually wanted to wait a while because of kind of the risque material, but that's why we saved it for After Dark as kind of a good introduction to what's going to be happening moving forward. And during this time, we came up with some other cool stuff. More on that later. But Elvira, Cassandra Peterson, thank you for giving us the gift of Elvira. But now you know what I think. I've just got to ask. Were you a fan of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark? If so, what's your favorite episode, movie, or appearance? If not, what was your favorite childhood snack toy, show, movie, or other memory? Did we forget something, get anything wrong, or leave something out? Do you have a suggestion for a future video, or maybe just want to drop in and say, hey, what's up? Either way, feel free to head on down to the comment section, because as usual, most of the time, we look forward to hearing from you guys. And with that, unfortunately, we've come to the end of our very first Macabre'Gorium Lab showcase of things likely forgotten after dark. I've been your host, Bats, and I hope you had a good time today as we took a look at Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and Queen of Halloween. Be sure to check back next time because you never know what we have in store. And as usual, think for yourselves, excellent to each other, and keep it goddamn creepy. We'll see you in the next one. Did you order that Elvira outfit yet? if you stayed around this long, I really appreciate it. Thanks. This was a lot of fun to make, and we tried out a couple new things. We've got some new stuff coming, but we figured Elvira would be a pretty good segue into kind of where we're trying to head. It didn't feel like it was too much or not enough. So let us know what you think down in the comments, and to those of you still here, thanks for the support. And a quick shout out to our patrons: Manic Goats, Boss Mike, Woodstock, Corey, Viking Woman, Bill, Matt H, and Joshua R. You guys are rad. We'll see you in the next one. Keep it creepy.